Hello, everyone. That's Titus, and I'm Thomas, and this is Everyone's Bad at Magic, where we untap, upkeep, and punt. And today we're joined by our homie, Kevin, also known as Chatterfang Kevin, despite the fact that they have beat me on Nagila, Elsha, Rogsai. You've beaten me on a number of decks other than Chatterfang. Uh, would you mind telling the people at home who you are and what your accolades are, Kevin?
Hello, my name is Kevin. I am a CEDH tournament grinder. I currently play one of three decks, Elsha, Chatterfang, and Rogsai. I've top 16, I believe, five 200% events and numerous other 60 players and below as golds and locals. I consider myself to be one of the more exciting brewers out there. I pick up random decks and try to make them work and try to put my own spin on the things and try to make them fast. I don't, you'll notice very quickly if you ever look at my mox field or anything that I do not like to sit and wait. I like putting my spells on the stack and I like to see if they resolve.
Yeah, I remember most games are like, okay, turn to intuition. Intuition good? Intuition? Yep. Kevin wins quick.
Yeah.
That is very fair to say. Before we get into today's topic, which you can probably guess from our title, is in fact Chatterfang, we do have a little bit of housekeeping. We are partnering with Critical EDH and the Denver Card Show to throw the stock up, a CDH scaling 1K April 11th and 12th at the Denver Card Show, which will be benefiting the Colorado Artisan Recovery. If you are in Denver that weekend, we highly would love if you came out, played some games with us, raised some money for a great charity, and just jammed with some local creators and grinders. The people who signed up so far are some pretty dang good players, including, I believe, you, Kevin. So thanks
Yeah, I
for
am I am
signing
signed up for that. I'm also going to be vending that, which is going to be very fun. I
That,
have my buddies that don't play Commander running that booth for me that those 2 days while I
aw-
am in the background playing Magic. So it's gonna be fun.
awesome. Come buy some high-end magic cards from Kevin while he's winning a tournament then. Sick. So, something we're trying out today is we're moving our punt segment up a little bit, and we're going to jump right into that. So, forgive me, friends, I have punted. This last week at locals, I was playing a game in seat one against two Kinnons and a Kefka, and I had a Heartwood Storyteller on board against three players who had Consphinxes. And instead of holding up my 6 mana, I tutored for a fairy mastermind in hopes that I could make them draw out their last cards. But I didn't leave any mana up. This is an embarrassing punt that I make all the freaking time, where it's like, I could draw six more cards if I get another engine on board. When in reality, what's six more cards when I'm going to be drawing 20 if I have 6 mana? I don't know if y'all ever run into making this kind of mistake, but it's something that I do constantly, and I want to put it out there, so I force myself to stop making this mistake. I lost that game. Everybody had their libraries, whole libraries in their hand. If I was able to make 4 mana, which obviously you can't do with no untapped mana, I would have won that game. But I only had 36 cards in hand and 1 mana off of my Elvish Spirit Guide, which I am sad to say is a Tales all the time for me. So when all the locals came up and looked at the game, like, what the hell happened here? It's like, not my game. I I don't have, I'm the only person with that con Sphinx. Can't do anything here. Um, yeah. You guys run into anything recently, or is it just me who's punted into the sun this week?
Nothing recently, but I can vaguely remember a punt that I had against my roommate upstairs. His name's Cortez, avid VV player. But before he was on VV, long time ago, he was on Kuja. I put a intuition on the stack with an opposition on board that I could not see. And he stole my breach and a silence and like a rock or something to give him more VV mana. And it was pretty rough. It was a pretty rough time.
You know what, Kevin? It could always be worse. That Oppo could have come down for a gamble, and you could have had to discard while they still tutored from your deck.
That's true. That's true. Getting three cards stolen out of my deck is pretty rough, but
Yeah,
you
Pretty,
know.
yeah,
that
pretty
is
impactful.
brutal. Titus, you got anything, or are you feeling pretty clean this week?
Never, but uh, maybe about a couple of weekends ago, I had a damn thing spear in hand. I forget if this was turn one or two, but I had a bunch of fast mana and I was playing Italian, and I'm like, oh man, I can get this down really quickly. Well, turns out you should pay attention to your sequencing because after I put down the dampening sphere, I tried to cast my Lotus Petal after casting a bunch of spells. So, yep, just slow down. Remember why you're playing the card, and the impact on the game towards the opponents is also towards yourself. And yeah.
All right. Well, we had two pretty
Oh,
devastating punts and one that is just a basic mistake that isn't made
That
very
anyone
often.
could
So
make, yeah.
I'll take that for this week. If anybody has any punts at home that they'd like to send us, we'd be happy to read those out here. So, on to today's topic. Chatterfang is objectively just a cool freaking deck, but there's a reason why Kevin is known as Chatterfang Kevin. And it's not because this is the main deck that they play. It's because this might be the prettiest deck that most people will ever see. Kevin, how long have you been curating this deck, and what made you choose Chatterfang?
So I started playing this game on the release of Outlaws of Thunder Junction. So I am very, very green in terms of like being playing this game. The reason I chose Chatterfang was my first ever CDH event down at a local game store called Mythic Games. My buddy handed me Kinnan. Big Flips Kinnan was my first ever deck that I ever played. Took it to an event. I didn't even know the rules of Magic before they took me to the CDH tournament and handed me a deck. And we played two games in preparation for this tournament. And throughout I got a win. I think I got like two losses and a draw. I ended up with 6 points. And I almost made top 16, but I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. Everyone, the talking aspect is very interesting. I come from a very like heavy 1v1 background of Flesh and Blood. And like I'm playing in a four-player format. It wasn't like as technically stimulative, but like it was very much so different in a way that I liked a lot. And then I chose Chatterfang just because me and my buddy stayed up that night looking at legendary creatures, and I was like, oh, he seems interesting. So I kind of just picked him out of a hat, I guess. And I've been in love with him ever since. Like, just the deck is so fun. The deck is so layered. It's so good.
Well, first of all, I didn't realize you're so new to Magic. And I mean, good for you for like getting so good so quickly. And I mean, I feel a little bit disappointed in myself
No, 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 no worries. It's just
based
like
off of this.
the 1v1 the
Yeah.
1v1 aspect of my like TCG career carries me through this game like by far.
Oh, I'm mostly kidding. You
Yeah.
are somebody who I know as a very technically sound player, who like specializes in sequencing.
Yeah.
That's something that watching you play is something I really admire about your play. Is that something you would say comes from Flesh and Blood?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, Flesh and Blood is a game where like you have four cards in your hand at all times, and then whenever you go to cast a spell, you have to pitch a spell, and then the spell that you pitch goes to the bottom of your library. So at some point, you will be hitting your second cycle, and you're effectively stacking your deck against your opponent, and that takes a whole new level of sequencing that you've never thought of before. Like, what are the consequences of the resource that I am getting rid of, and how relevant is the thing that I am casting as opposed to the thing that I'm getting rid of, right? So like it's just a lot of resource management that helped me a lot with Flesh and Blood, and it's like honest to God, one of the things that carries me through this game. Because resource management, I think, is something that is very understated in this format, but not a whole lot of people talk about it.
Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Resource management being like how much mana you have, the cards in your hand, all of that relates to something, a concept called tempo, right? So in 1v1, your tempo is going to be a little bit more streamlined, a little bit easier to calculate and like understand. Because how many cards does my opponent have? How much mana does my opponent have? Same thing for me. How many attackers, blockers, cards in hand, and mana? How much mana do I have? And all of that can be like calculated and be like, I'm in a winning position here. Like there's obvious points in CDH when you have a winning position, right? If you have 30 cards in hand and like 50 mana, that's like obvious. You're probably winning that game.
Yeah.
But in the low resource game, when everyone kept a fairly high mulligan, everyone kept a 7, 7, 6, 5 in that area, right? And then gauging the relevancy of their first play and second play becomes a lot more important in those games. And it's not something that a whole lot of people talk about. I think a lot of people don't realize how important that one mana dork is on Kinnon's board, or how important that soul ring or that random piece of tech that you've never seen from some random fringe deck is to that deck. And if you don't get rid of it immediately, you're probably dying turn 2 or 3. It's just one of those things where it's like very understated and not talked about enough. And it's the one thing that I think I'm very, very good at just because of the game that I came from.
That is a very cool perspective and a good way to think about the game. Speaking of coming from the game you came from, you jumped right into CDH, it sounds like. Did you participate in Modern or Legacy or any of the 60 card formats, especially since
Uh,
some of your roommates are so heavily into those formats?
I play Modern. I started playing Modern probably a year after I started playing CDH. The CDH was my first ever format, and then after that, I started to go play Primeval Titan in Modern,
Fair enough choice.
which I think is a very fitting deck for someone like me. But
Yeah, Primetime did nothing wrong. Give us him in
that's what I'm
Commander
saying.
too.
Watch me
Is
become a Lumra main.
You've been playing Chatterfang pretty much since the beginning, and you pretty much picked him out of a hat.
Yeah.
What made you decide that this was the deck that was going to be your like candy deck, like every piece?
So when I was first learning the game, I didn't know any card did, right? Like I didn't know what the hell a fetch land was. Like I didn't know what dual lands were. I didn't know like what like the term tutor was, you know. So learning the game, it was very interesting. I didn't realize that all of these I would see so often. Like I understood like black had demonic tutor, blue had like demonic tutor, vamp tutor, imperial seal, all those like different get basically extra copies of your strongest spell in your deck. White had all the counter spells, or not white, not white. White had silences. Blue had counter spells. Green had lots and lots of mana, and red had 4 cards. At the time, it was Dockside, Breach, SWAT, and something else. I can't remember.
Ragavan.
Probably
Yeah.
Ragavan's great. But as I was learning, it was just kind of like I was stuck in a spot where I didn't want to switch off of Chatterfang because it was the only deck that I had put time into. And I think learning another deck while trying to learn the format all at the same time would be too overwhelming. So I kind of just stayed in my comfort spot for a while. But then soon enough, like Modern Horizons 3 came out and War and Soul Trader got printed. And that pushed this deck into the sky.
Yeah. Oh, and I mean, getting your 10,000 hours into a deck, especially when you're first learning, is completely invaluable. I wish I had stuck with a deck when I was first playing CDH and like learning that format because it's so completely different
Mhm.
than just regular Commander. I've said this before on here, but I hopped around between I think like 4 or 5 decks, maybe more, before settling on Tivit for about a year. And that's when I started to see real dividends in my play and started to not get good because
Yeah.
let's face it, I'm not good at Magic, but I got a lot better.
Yeah.
So
I think it's very
Yeah.
important to like get to a certain spot with your deck where different interactions and lines almost become natural to you, right?
Hmm.
It's not like something that you have to go out of your box to think about. It should be something that's just a part of your like game plan, part of your repertoire, right? Like one of the things that I do a whole lot is with Orcish Bowmasters, I will shoot my orc army so it amasses another orc army and I make another squirrel, right? But like that's just something that I learned while playing the deck over and over again, and it's just something that's honestly insane to me. But every deck has those little niche things, right? Like those little niche things where not a whole lot of pilots will know about it unless they play the deck.
Yeah, it's the
And once you
hyper
get,
efficiencies.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like once you get to the point where you're like, okay, everything in this deck makes sense to me, then you will see success. Like no matter what, it doesn't matter. But a lot of people try to be like, oh, what did well this month? Oh, Kinnan. What Kinnan listed well this month? Oh wow, Evan's still really good. And then they'll
Yeah.
take his list, but then they'll be like, oh, this list is like super hyper tuned towards Evan. Like NBC Kinnan is like one of the most hyper tuned lists I've ever seen. But a lot of people will pick it up. And because it's so tuned towards Evan, not a whole lot of people are going to see success on it, right? So I still see a whole lot of big flips. I still see like other builds of Kinnan when, definitively off of results, NBC Kinnan is the best version of Kinnan. I think it's just going to take a little bit more time for the rest of the meta to adjust to what Evan's doing and adopt his game plan, right?
Oh, I
But
thought everybody was already on NBC at this point. Uh,
I see a lot of people on NBC, but like the point I was trying to make, it was like not a whole lot of people are good on NBC.
Fair. To be honest, I feel like that deck plays itself, but you're not wrong. It's a whole nother skill level.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why Evan can top four every event on that list, but then, maybe one out of every 50 people that play that list at a tournament are going to make top 16, right?
Oh, yeah, because Evan's the
Yeah.
GOAT.
Yeah, Evan's just insane, but he's like also the list was like almost built for him, or he, all those cards like flash photography, mirror maid, clever impersonator. The artist name on the bottom should just say Evan Freedom Waffle Pierce.
Speaking or getting into Chatterfang a little bit and talking about those play patterns and being built for an individual player, what are some of the main play patterns that you're looking for within Chatterfang? What are you going for?
So I guess like the obvious stuff, I just have a lot of generically good Golgari cards, even though there isn't that many to be fair. I just get to run a whole lot of copies of one card, especially with green being like the one copy that I want a lot of is going to be a creature. So all those green ETB tutors are very good for me. So my deck is very streamlined, very condensed. My main game plan is like Dork on one, Chatterfang on two, Tutor for Warren on three, right? Or just have Warren Soul Trader on three. The reason that the dork is this is why I'm not Imperial Seal if you look at my list, because Imperial Seal on one is bad. Imperial Seal on one is bad because to start the Warren Chatterfang thing, I need a creature on board. And if I don't have that creature on board at one, then it becomes very difficult for me to like weave it into my sequencing like turn four, turn five, because like the waste of one mana is so huge in this deck. I'm not on a whole lot of big mana cards. I'm not on Enduring. I'm not on Badger Mole Cub. And I'm not on like all the Cradle Untappers that like a lot of the green decks seem to be on nowadays. I'm just on like, here's a bunch of tutors, here's a bunch of ways to get Warren, and please deal with it if you can.
The way you're describing this, it sounds like this is a turn four deck most of the time. Would you say that's where you're aiming for?
If Warren, my like the whole goal, like the best curve for this deck is Warren on three. Like the best consistent curve, right? The best curve is Warren on two, and win the game. But the most consistent curve is going to be Warren on three, and if I Warren makes me what 37 mana at least at that point, and with that much mana, I should be able to win the game. So I think it's a turn three, turn four. Yeah, it makes
Okay.
that sounds about right.
For people who are unfamiliar with the Warren Soul Trader line, can you walk us through how that works?
Here's a Chatterfang. Here's a Warren Soul Trader. Here's any creature. We're gonna use my favorite dork in the deck, Gilded Goose. So with Chatterfang out, Chatterfang has the static ability of whenever one or more tokens are created under my control, I create a squirrel in addition to that token. Warren Soul Trader says I can sacrifice a creature and make a treasure. So how it works is once my Warren and Chatterfang are on board, as long as I have another creature, I can sacrifice it to Warren Soul Trader. Boom, basically makes it into a squirrel, and then I will makes a treasure, and then I will get a squirrel. In my mind, I like to think that this squirrel is bringing me a treasure just because it makes sense in my head canon. You are able to repeat this as many times as you have life to create, I don't know, 30 mana. And then at some point, you are able to play one of the many X Greens tutor spells in the deck. Examples are like Shared Summons, Nature's Rhythm, Finale of Devastation, those kinds of tutors. And then assemble a win from there. The most common win that I go for in my deck is Academy Manufacturer, which basically replaces this treasure with a treasure, food, and clue, and 3 squirrels. And with those treasures, I can crack the food to go up on 1 life and have infinite life. And then at some point, I can just do it without cracking the treasures and then start cracking clues and then draw my deck.
So you need to have a tutor in hand as well when you're executing this line then?
Yeah, to win the game from this position, you do need a tutor in hand or one of 3 creatures. Like you either need Disciple of the Vault, Academy Manufacturer, or Peregrine Took are one of the 3 creatures that you need to get into play from this position to win the game.
Blood Artist makes it so you go life neutral, Academy Manufacturer so you can crack the food, like you were just saying,
Yeah.
and Peregrine took because you can sacrifice.
So once you start cracking the foods to get infinite life, because it's the same line, right? It's just treasure and foods.
Okay.
You get infinite life. Then you can just start activating it and start sacking the foods to Peregrine Took's activated ability to draw cards.
Heard. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, are the main win conditions primarily either like infinite mana, finale devastation, or a drain effect?
The one that I go for the most is the drain effect, just because it's the safest, right? It's just like the best idea of them. I really don't like moving to combat.
Come on, you haven't attacked with an army of squirrels?
I sure have. I run Toski, Bearer of Secrets. That card makes it so I kind of have to move to combat sometimes, but Toski being just a better Timna.
Fair enough. How have there been any games, or what is the number of games that you've won through combat damage outside of a finale, just regular old beats?
Regular old beats. I think it's only happened twice. I was able to present a loop with Saw in Half, Eternal Witness, and or not like a loop, but like because I didn't have infinite mana, but I was able to do this like 3 times a turn. Where you Saw in Half your Eternal Witness, your copies of Eternal Witness will grab Saw in Half and like another, like it's just another spell, and then you get 2 scrolls in addition. So like on every end step, I was just making 4 more bodies, and then I just moved to combat and beat face in until I either drew a tutor or they died. And it was a stack stout game too, so no one was really doing anything. It was very fun. It was interesting. I didn't expect to win that way.
Taking you back to turn one.
Mhm.
Say, making a turn one dork, super important in this deck. What
Mhm.
are your dorks of choice and why did you choose them? Because that's always an interesting question for green decks. And why aren't you on Gene Pollinator?
Gene Pollinator is interesting. I think so. Deathrite Shaman is very good in my deck just because it's exile effects. It's very versatile. Deathrite Shaman rules multiple formats, right? Like,
Yeah, banned in
uh,
Legacy.
yeah, Abandoned Legacy, the card's broken. Elves of Deep Shadow instead of Elvish Spirit Guide and Finhorn Elves is because my deck is very black skewed. Like all the relevant, very good cards in my deck are black. Like Meathook Massacre, Pitiless Plunder, Warm Soul Trader, Demonic Tutor, Vamp Tutor. I'm on Grim Tutor. I'm on a bunch of like other Beseech the Mirror being a big one, like 3 black pips, right?
yeah.
I'm on Birds of Paradise just because I think that's the best dork in the game. Delighted Halfling. I mean, you can't play CDH without in green without Delighted Halfling. Like making your stuff uncounterable is very, very cool. And then it's also just like one of the things where it gives my Peregrine Took protection if I have to black tutor it in hand, right? Makes it my Peregrine Took uncounterable and has like other use cases, making my One Ring uncounterable and so on and so forth.
Yeah, you have
Um,
a decent number of legendary cards.
yeah. And then Gilded Goose. This card's broken. Makes a food and a squirrel. It's 1 mana for two bodies. It's just like a pretty good rate in my deck.
With that being a core part of your strategy, and this is not me trying to poke holes in this, is out of curiosity, you feel comfortable with four dorks?
I do. I do. It's not a number that I've changed in a while. Also, having too many is bad because like it's really just the first one that matters. Because you really want to get Chatterfang out on two. Because again, like if I try to do anything past turn two or on turn two without casting Chatterfang, trying to weave this card into my sequencing with how much mana he costs is sometimes impossible and always makes my feels feel like or my plays feel like they're less impactful, right? Because it's just kind of like, oh, here's a scroll pass.
Mhm.
Oh, it would happen on turn three, but I got to play my two other dorks on two, so I have a lot more mana.
Okay. And would you mind taking us through your tutor suite as well, since that seems to be the other half of this puzzle for your early game?
Yeah, that's a pattern of rebirth. Here's an invasion of Ikoria, Green Sun Zenith.
I'm gonna make you cycle back on that pattern of rebirth because that is not
Oh,
a
sure.
common tutor.
Pattern of rebirth is broken. What are you talking about? Pattern of rebirth just has a lot of inherent synergies in this deck, right? It's 4 mana. I can put it onto a scroll token and then beseech that scroll token and have two tutors on this deck. I can put it on a scroll, activate Chatterfang to kill that scroll, put a warren into play off of an activated ability, right?
That looks like it can get you an instant speed combo piece
Yep.
because you play the pattern, hold it up, or how often have you used something like that for a piece of interaction as well?
I have used it for a piece of interaction. It's kind of just like I can sack this, like, don't interact with this pattern of rebirth. I won't push. I can sacrifice this squirrel that I'm putting it on later on Blue Farm's turn to instant speed put in endurance, right? Or, some other effect. There's also, if I have a way to kill it or kill whatever I'm putting into play on board or in my hand with like a Clothing of the Week or something, this does just put Hulk into play. Go
Can
ahead.
Hulk get a instant speed win off?
Yeah. So it's just Hulk. Say you have this, you grab Hulk, you have a way to kill it, you kill Hulk, you get Warren Soul Trader Academy Manufacturer, saying that you have one more creature in play besides Chatterfang and those two creatures, you can draw your deck at instant speed. And then you have Savage Summoning to put Disciple of the Vault into play.
And yeah, Chatterfang is not limited to sorcery speed on its activated ability.
Yep. Diabolic Intent, Vamp Tutor.
Yeah, black green has a lot of tutors.
Entomb gets me my rhythm, my nature's rhythm when I need it.
Nature's Rhythm is one of my favorite cards that's been printed in the last year.
Yeah, 100%.
Your Entomb also works so nicely with the shifting woodland that you have in there.
Yep. I wasn't on shifting prior just because I think getting an Ursa Saga for a skull clamp was a little bit more important than it was back then. But now I think getting a shifting woodland out is with my board getting more and more interacted with, unfortunately. Do we count opposition agent as a tutor? Just kidding.
Well, Kevin, do you count opposition H as a tutor? That's the question.
I count it as a stacks piece. So it's fine, I guess. Okay, cool. Those are all the tutors I'm running.
Okay,
So
let's
it's
walk through them.
Wish Call Talisman. Good for setting up Demonic Tutor. Obvious answer. That card's broken. Court of Calling is one of the best tutors in my deck, being instant speed and having Convoke. I make so many bodies in this deck, so being able to just turn my squirrel sideways and trying to put a Warren Soul Trader into play at instant speed is very fun.
Makes sense.
Worldly Tutor, obvious. Nature's Rhythm card's
Best
just really
tutor,
good.
like,
Best green tutor of all time. Shared Summons is my 1-to-1 for ad nauseum.
okay, let's talk about that a little bit. Walk me through why that's your one for one for Adnos.
So Adnaz being a card that is notoriously very, very all in. This deck cannot do that game plan very well just because of my average CMC. A lot of my creatures being very relevant are at 3 and 4, Protean Hulk being at 7, a lot of my tutors being at 3. I wouldn't get very many cards off of an Adnos. So, but I was still looking for a way to hold up mana to either kill things with Chatterfang's activated ability and hold up interaction, and have the ability to win if it does get back to my turn without me having to use any resources, right? It's just a mana dump. And that's what Ad Naus was for me either way, was just a way to dump mana into something so I could get some value and not feel bad about holding up 5 mana for the turn. And this guarantees me my win cons.
I'm looking at your average CMC and having a 1.53. I've seen higher CMCs run Adnaz, so
Yeah, it's just like one of those things where I didn't want to take the risk. Like this deck, on like thankfully, has a better game plan than just like having to take a 50-50 gamble whether or not I'm able to see a win.
yeah.
The game plan being just get the 2 cards that I really need to win. If I had one of the pieces in hand, I can just get a Dozen off the shared summons and be fine on my turn.
Very reasonable. Okay, cool. What will we have up next?
Pattern of Rebirth, we talked about a little bit earlier. We have Grim Tutor. I have Grim Tutor over Imperial Seal.
So a little bit more expensive, but to hand instead of top of library. I can see why that's beneficial to you.
Yeah. Summoner's Pact, just a 0 mana way to get a Took, or if someone shows me a counter spell, I can get a Cabbage Merchant, and most of the time that activate the upkeep cost isn't a real thing anyway. Like that doesn't really matter. The deck is so mana efficient and mana tight, where like winning off of 3 mana is very reasonable. Being able to spend an extra amount is fine.
Yeah, Summoner's Pact is underplayed, and I think it's starting to get played a lot more. I really like that card.
We have Eldritch Evolution. Eldritch Evolution is very interesting. I've kind of am a little bit lighter on this card than I was before. I thought this card used to be like insane, but the fact that I have to sacrifice the creature, like sacrifice my dork or whatever, and like this deck sometimes being very light on like what my board state looks like, Eldritch sometimes is really bad. Because like I can't get a Warren because I have no creatures in play. But that happens a lot less often than like I'm talking about it, just because a fetch gets me a Dryad Arbor, right? Like a green fetch gets me a Dryad Arbor, and then I can sack it to my Warren if I really wanted to do it that way.
Yeah, no, I see where you're coming from. Birthing Ritual or Pod might be an interesting thing to
Yeah.
test in that spot.
Yeah. So like this is like one of the tutors that I'm like, okay if I like cut it, but I haven't really had a thought of what to cut it for quite yet. Entomb is just really good because I also run Reanimate. This deck having so much kill power in the zone lets me run Reanimate so I can steal other people's stuff. Oh, I think Farm's gonna win this turn. Or like I have to pass here. I cannot win. I'm gonna kill Farm's Ranger Captain. I'm gonna reanimate it and get like a bop into my hand or something, play the bop, and then just set up really nicely for my next turn, right? I also run a card called Activated Sleeper, which is a Protean Hulk card. That one just lets me get another Hulk, like is the ceiling of that card. But it's also just a flash copy card.
I mean, that's really nice to have.
It's a flash copy card, and I have the insane amount of kill power in Chatterfang. So I can just be like, oh, that's really scary. I'm gonna kill it. I want it now.
Yeah, that's not something we see too often. That should probably see more play in general.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the only thing is like a lot of the kill spells that we see in CDH right now are exile effects, and this card doesn't work with exile effects, right?
Yeah, I'm just with Hexing Swelter, I'm just seeing that be such a
Yeah, I've stolen a Hexing Sculpture quite a few times so far. Oh no, I had to pay 4 for ward. Okay, I want a Hexing Sculpture.
Yep.
Vampiric Tutor, just one of the best black tutors in the game. I don't think there's really an argument to not run this card.
Yeah.
This card has similar issues to Eldritch Revolution, this being Diabolic Intent. But because this is a non-restricted everything tutor, not just creature, then gives me a little bit more options. So I think that one's a little bit less cuddle than Eldritch is. Beseech the Mirror, I make so many tokens, so many artifacts, so many like ways this bargain this card that it's just like 4 mana, put something into play.
Yeah. Other than triggering Mindbreak Trap a little bit earlier, that card is so goated.
Yeah, 100%. Finale Devastation, win con / just another ETB tutor. I barely ever use this as my win con, but when I'm forced to, it doesn't feel good. Green Sun Zenith, I recently put this card back in. I wasn't on it because the only real relevant green creature that I wanted to put into play was Peregrine Took, and running an entire tutor for it just didn't seem all that great. Like shared Summoner's Pact has a similar problem, but this being able to put in like a Hulk into my hand is fine. But having to pay 8 mana to put a Hulk into play is a little bit worse. And then Invasion is just a solid card. Just like one of the better green tutors out there, one of the X green tutors. Can't grab Pitiless Plunder. Well, that's fine.
Okay, that's the second time we've come back to Pitiless Plunder.
Yeah.
This is a insane card in casual.
Yeah.
Why is it insane in your deck?
So Pitiless Plunder has the text of whenever a creature dies, it has a trigger to put a treasure into play. This loops with Chatterfang. If I, as long as I have a squirrel, right, or if I have a way to kill something, so you activate Chatterfang to kill the squirrel or whatever the token is, right? Activate Chatterfang, sacrifice a squirrel. There will be a pitiless trigger on the stack. I will create a treasure and a squirrel, and then I can use this treasure to sack the squirrel again. This effectively represents an instant speed board wipe because this isn't restrictive. This isn't, everyone wipes their board. This is just you guys, everything dies. And it's better than Cyclonic Rift because they die. They don't go back to your hand. They don't go anywhere accessible. They go to your graveyard. And there's so many, like, I'm not the only Fringe pilot in the world, right? There's going to be other commander centric plans out there. This being able to board wipe, if there is another Fringe deck in my pod and getting rid of the commander cripples them, it's fantastic for that. Or even like politicking against the Rog Thras, but blue farm's the one that has interaction. I could just talk to blue farm being like, hey, you don't care about your creatures at all. Let me present a board wipe with this cord for 4.
Yeah.
And then, we can make promises or whatever after that. But, Pitiless is a very good card and a very good politicking piece.
That's funny. Let me solve all of your problems. Don't worry about the aftermath.
Yeah, don't worry about what happens after, but I can kill this Rog Thras as Oboro indefinitely.
You've obviously put a lot of love into this deck and a lot of care into it. Do you have any favorite cards?
Oh yeah. Oh, there it is. Cut right to it. Royal Treatment. This is a 1 green instant from Wilds of Eldraine. Target creature you control gains hexproof until end of turn. Create a Royal Roll token. The token gives the creature +1/+1 and gives it ward 1. The Royal Roll token is a token, so it also comes with a squirrel. So it is a 1 mana give my important piece hexproof board and +1/+1 plus a body for 1 green. It's one of my favorite protection spells in the deck.
That's sick.
Let's see what else is there. Braids Arisen Nightmare. This card, if I'm in a spot where I have Chatterfang and Pitiless on board, which does happen quite a few times, I can politic with people being like, hey, I don't have a way to start this because I don't have a creature or I don't have a scroll on board, right? I can play a Braids and sacrifice the Braids to its own trigger to trigger Pitiless and start the loop.
All right. Yours is in Japanese, so you're gonna have to explain that one.
So Braids has a trigger. Braids is a 3/3 legendary creature nightmare. Costs 2 black and a generic. Has the ability of on your end step, you may sacrifice a land, artifact, enchantment, or creature, and then it goes in priority to see if your opponents want to do the same. If they do the same, then they just lose their creature. But if they don't do the same, they lose 2 life, and I draw a card. This is a draw engine plus a kind of a sneaky way to win with Pitiless.
Okay, because you can just sack it to itself. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. So you sack it to itself, it'll trigger Pitiless, make me the treasure and the squirrel, and in end step, I can do the Chatterfang loop thing.
Chatterfang Shuffle.
Yeah. Savage Summoning is a card that I'm very fond of. Let me see. You guys have heard of Savage Summoning, yeah?
Yeah, you get to flash in a creature.
Yeah. So it's 1 green instant. Savage Summoning cannot be countered. The next creature card you cast has flash and also can't be countered, and it enters with a +1/+1.
Yeah, I mean that's just a great way to get your Warren Soul Trader on the board.
Yeah, I mean, the flash part is really nice. right? But it's also like on my main phase, I can start my turn with this.
Yeah.
And then my next spell being worn, there's no way they can get around it unless someone hard casts an MBT. Because I've only cast 2 spells that turn.
I don't know why we don't see more of that card in green decks.
Oh, it's just
I
so
don't know
good. I
why
don't
I'm not playing that in Derevi.
know.
Logan told me I should. Maybe I should pick one up during
This
Space
card,
Instinct.
Ruthless Knave, goes infinite with Earthcraft.
All right, we're gonna just assume that
Okay.
you're going to explain these as we're going because
Yeah.
some of these are
I'm
just
gonna keep going.
outside of my
So
knowledge pool.
Ruthless Knave is 2 generic and a black orc pirate. Has the activated ability of sacrifice a creature, create 2 treasure tokens. So say you have literally any other creature in Chatterfang in play. If you can activate and a basic with Earthcraft, if you sacrifice a creature to Ruthless Knave, it'll create 2 treasures, 2 squirrels. You can tap those 2 squirrels to Earthcraft and a treasure to activate Ruthless Knave again, sacrificing one of the tapped squirrels. You'll get infinite mana here. And then Ruthless Knave has the activated ability of sacrifice 3 treasures to draw a card.
So that's infinite mana and draw your deck.
Yeah.
That seems pretty decent.
Yeah. It's pretty good. And
Yeah.
people won't realize it because they've never heard of this card before.
100%, at least in CDH.
Yeah. This card is
Um,
also just great. But
and also you brought it up a little bit earlier, but the Eternal Witness and Saw in Half can go infinite with Dark Ritual, I believe,
correct. Calling the Weak.
as well.
Yeah. Calling the Weak and Dark Rit are the 2 rituals that I can go infinite with. And maybe a threshold enabled Cabal ritual, I think.
Right.
I think any way to make +2 mana, I think works.
So it seems like a lot of Golgari's removal is going to be based on like permanent removal.
Mhm.
How do you go into like matches where you see like Rograk Silas, right? Stuff like that.
Rograk Silas is one of those decks where it's very interesting because like Force of Vigor does nothing to that deck unless they're going for a breach line. The best card in my deck that deals with Rograk Silas is Endurance. So if I'm above or behind a Rograk or a Rogsai, I just need to like attempt to talk to my other 2 table mates, be like, please hold interaction. I will keep a stable hand. I won't try to BTFO you guys and like try to win turn 2. Just like, please don't let us lose to a Necro turn 1.
Fair enough.
Just
So,
I never
oh,
said the I never said Golgari was very good.
but it does look like there's a lot of like little things that you can take advantage of, right? Like the pattern
Mhm,
of rebirth, getting a piece of interaction, or potentially just winning on top.
mhm,
Um, and you still have access to both Orcish Bowmaster and Opposition Agent. Endurance is very good. So
mhm.
yeah, it does seem like there's some lines of play. What are your favorite matches to go into?
Kinnan.
Creature matchups?
Yeah, Kinnan, Rogthras, anything that relies on the commander, Yoshi Thras, all the Thrasios decks, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is like the green trader deck. Um,
Yeah. This is a deck that like has very, very oppressive board control if it doesn't win turn 3.
Any any creature commander strategies feels like they have to keep an eye on, keep an eye
Yeah.
out.
Oh, 100%, right? Like I'm just holding the fort down until I draw my next tutor or I get a Toski out and I start drawing 20 cards.
would you mind taking us through a couple mulligans and a couple test hands and tell us what you're looking at or what you're
Sure.
looking for while we go through one or two?
Sure. That's fine. All right. Let's look at a first 7.
So your seat 2 behind Blue Farm, Sisay seat 3, Rogishai seat 4.
Oh, this hand's great. It's a gemstone with a warren and a dork. I have no tutor, so I have no way to end the game here. But this hand lets me do a lot of interesting stuff, especially with the Visage for early breach wins, right? I probably dump. Is it this? Yeah, I think I dump the Misty Rainforest here and keep the forest and Boseiju and the Delighted Halfling and Savage Summoning. So we draw for turn to Cavern. Wow, my Warren's resolving. We can play a land. We can play Delighted Halfling. That's fine. Draw. Next turn. It's a Mox Opal. We can play that. Play the
So
Cavern on Wizard.
this is exactly as you drew it up with a turn one Dork, turn two Chatterfang, turn three uncounterable Worn Soul Trader. This
Yeah.
seems to be
Um,
exactly what you're
the
looking for.
the deck being super dense on tutors is like what helps me want to keep a hand like this. But unfortunately, we didn't draw a tutor. So now instead of trying to win turn three, I'm gonna try to pivot and be responsible and hold up things. And at any point, if there are other variables like me drawing cards off of a fairy mastermind or someone wheels us, being able to present Savage Summoning War and Soul Trader is very good.
Awesome. You want to take us through one more test hand?
Sure. Oh, One Ring. Perfect.
That that's directly brain. I was thinking, oh, now you just need a Toski. Uh,
Yeah. All right. What's the
okay.
pod this time?
Um, let's say seat one Kennen, seat two Magda, seat three you, seat four Roxai.
So it's a Ruthless Knave, Dark Ritual, Urza Saga. This is supposed to be a shifting woodland, so everyone's aware. Polluted Delta, Pitiless Plunder, Doze in the Fallen Leaf, and Birds of Paradise. This is very good because Saga on three pops and gets me Skull Clamp, and Skull Clamp with Birds of Paradise draws my deck with Pitiless. So let's play this out, and I'll show you how that works. If this was a Saga, right? It would probably go Polluted Delta on one into a Birds of Paradise for a Bayou. I guess I don't need a tutor. We'll just pretend that's a Bayou. Draw. It's a Invasion of Ikoria. Here's a Urza Saga or Shifting Woodland. Sorry, I'm still getting used to that being the card. I haven't played it yet. Here's a Chatterfang.
You're all good.
Next turn, untap, draw. It's a Gemstone Caverns. Play the Gemstone. So you start your turn by casting the Dark Ritual, floating three. You can from here tap your Birds of Paradise in your imaginary Shifting Woodlands for an Invasion X's3.
Okay.
Using all the black. Invasion X's3 will find me a Warren Soul Trader. We'll just pretend that's a Warren. Warren Soul Trader will sacrifice this birds. I can present a loop to make 4 mana. I can cast a dozen just for protection purposes. And then I can cast a Pitiless Plunder. I can now activate Pitiless Plunder with Chatterfang to kill my Warren Soul Trader, making me +1 on creatures or on squirrels. With 2 squirrels, I can start wiping the board and presenting infinite mana here with infinite treasures. I can cast a Ruthless Knave to draw my deck.
It feels absolutely broken that out of two hands, not only did you have two keepable hands, but you had two very quick wins.
Yeah, the
Um,
deck is very strong.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it must be if you're taking it to a tournament this weekend that you're traveling to. So you
Yeah.
clearly believe in the deck still.
Oh yeah, 100%. I just thought it was the wrong meta for it at the moment, but we'll see if it's still true. I'm excited for this weekend.
All right, Kevin. So, is your favorite animal a squirrel?
Oh, by far, 100%.
Good to know. Good to know.
That either a squirrel or quokkas. I love quokkas.
Well, they're just happy.
Yeah, I love happy animals. Any animal that's just like living lazy, having a great time, that's my favorite because that's what I want to be doing.
Nice. Okay. On more of a CDH note, so you've played a few different decks, and we know that Cheddarfang will always be a mainstay. Is there anything that you've currently enjoyed playing as well, or you're looking to start playing and picking up?
I don't know if you guys, yeah, this last weekend I saw Tyler on Urza, and that deck looks sick. Me and Tyler have been cooking secretly in the DMs on an Urza list together, and we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes.
Nice. Is it because I know sewer surveillance has definitely given it a new tool to play with. Yeah, it looks fun.
Sewer Valence Cam, and then like we took the bare bones of NBC Kennen and tried to see what we could do with Urza, giving it a more definitive win con.
Nice.
Okay. I look forward to hopefully not being fully stacked out by multiple Urzas after you guys take over the meta. Um, s-
I don't know
no.
if I'll ever take over the meta. All the decks I play are too weird.
Um, Last thing I just kind of wanted to ask you is, do you have anything on your 2026 Magic Bingo card?
I want to win a diamond. A 250 plus, I want to win a diamond.
Okay. Hell yeah. That's a good
Yeah.
goal. I hope you achieve it.
Yeah, I've topped
Um,
too many times. I gotta get a full gold
okay.
one of these times.
Well, Kevin, this has been so much fun. Thank you for coming on and showing off your deck. Before we let you go, do you have anything you'd like to shout out?
I'm currently working on getting my name out there for vending. If you guys ever see me at shows or on the guest list for certain CDH events, it's going to be under KT's Collectibles. Come check out my booth if I'm not playing, or if I am playing, come check out my booth after we play.
Insane collection. I'm sure that if you need foil cradles or other fun things, Kevin might be your guy.
This is my floating green mana right now. So if anyone wants to buy it off me, let me know.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for hanging out with us today. And if you at home have stayed with us this long, please consider giving this episode a like, follow, or subscribe, and comment depending on how you found us. Check out our Discord and social links below. And if you're interested in one of our new playmats featuring this sick logo from Fox Tattoos, let us know. We might print some more off. Anyway, be kind to each other, be kind to yourselves. It's just a game.